Hi, good evening. Welcome to ACCA's Practice to Pass session for SBL. This is Hassan Dosani. I hope you guys can hear me clearly, see me clearly, and more importantly, you're able to see the screen which I'm sharing. Yeah? Okay, cool. So, today is the first day of our SBL Practice to Pass session. And we'll just spend a few minutes on the little bit of introduction, our game plan, and then we will hit the road. So what's our strategy? So I think that we need to practice more uh, and spend less time in theoretical knowledge. So this time around, we have changed some strategy, and only we will spend 35% of the time, or you can say 1/3 of the time on knowledge and topics, and 2/3 of the time I would be solving questions where I will demonstrate to you how to apply that knowledge, how to link your answers with the case, how to draft, how to present. So the main objective of these 5 days is to apply the knowledge on the actual questions and the actual case studies, right? All right. So our approach would be that we would do every day, we would do few topics, and then right away we do questions on those topics before we move to new topics. All right. So every day we will do few topics and we will do the relevant practice and then move on. Okay. And a little bit of a word of caution here. You would agree that this is a revision session. We just have 15 hours in which we have to do a lot of things. So obviously, I will not be able to cover each and every topic, and I will not be able to cover each and every question. So I have tried my best to select the most important topics, and the way I have selected is that I have selected topics which are important from an exam point of view, and then I have selected few topics which are little bit complicated, little bit tricky, so that I make it easy for you to understand those few topics. And I have selected couple of difficult models. Okay, so I have just kind of selected topics where I think you would need help. Easier topics or topics which you can read easily from the book, or you can YouTube or whatever, I expect you to do that on your own. Okay. So before we jump in, a very quick introduction of myself. I am Hassan Dasani. By profession, I am a fellow chartered accountant. I did that in 1999, like 25 years back. And I also did several other qualifications like certified management accountant, CISA, CIA, something in HR, something in marketing, all those things. And I have been working for last 20 years. And for the last 10 years, I have been working at director finance and a CFO level. So, for the last 10 years, I have been sitting in the board of directors talking about strategies and this and that, which is very relevant to SBL. Uh, Other than that, that was my professional experience, my teaching experience. Again, I have been teaching for last 20 years, and I think I have taught over more than 5,000 students. Touch wood, thank God. And I teach both physically in Pakistan, and I teach online internationally. And my experience of the boardroom and my experience of strategies, I love to share real life examples so that you guys can understand, able to relate what's happening, and this will all help you handle the SBL case study. It's not difficult. how can you contact me? How can you reach me? I have given my WhatsApp number. It's a Dubai based number. So you can always reach out to me on WhatsApp if you have any questions or you need any kind of help, and I would be most delighted if I could be of any help. Right? Uh, Before I proceed, let me just quickly look at the questions. Okay, so no, nothing right now. Uh, what's our today's plan? So every day we will start with a day-wise plan of what we're gonna achieve today. So always I will start with one exam technique. So today's exam technique is how to link your answers with the exhibits. Very, very important technique. And then after that, we will proceed to do three topics. And these three topics are really big, really important from exam point of view. So the first topic is success factors, then followed by suitability, feasibility, acceptability model, and then followed by financial projections. So the second topic, SFA framework, and third one, financial projections. These are two topics which are tested in almost every attempt. Financial projections you will see in every attempt, and SFA has been asked in every alternate attempt. So very high frequency of these topics. So I thought let's start with the two most important and frequent topics of SBL. And today, and in today's practice, we will be covering two professional skills: evaluation skill and analysis skill. And on the formats, we would be covering reports and briefing notes. Okay. SBL pass rate from September 2018 to December 2019. So you can see that the last attempt, the passing rate was 46%. And I, I hate to identify this, but I don't like this. Can you see? The passing percentage is gradually declining since last three attempts. It was 59, then sorry, beg your pardon, it was 51, then 49, and now lastly it was 46%. The lowest ever recorded was 45%. I do hope that your attempt in March should see a upward trend. Let's all pray for that. uh, but this is something which is beyond our control. I just thought I'll share this with you. No need to worry. We will beat the examiner this time for sure. Right. A little bit about SBL. And most of you, if you are research students, you would definitely know. But I would just give you a different perspective about SBL. Why is SBL different from all the other ACCA papers you have given so far? Number one, it's got integrated case study, which means that there will be one big case and all the questions will be coming out from that one case. So in case you are not able to understand the case, you are in for trouble. I'm joking. Integrated case study simply means that the size of the case would be like 10 to 12 pages. So this means a lot of reading and a lot of marking. You have never handled a case study of 10 12 pages, right? Maximum you might have handled a case study of 1 page, 2 page, max 3 page. This one is 10 to 12 pages. Huge difference, right? Time wise, it's the longest paper, 4 hours. The maximum I believe you have given is 3 hours and 15 minutes. This one is 4 hours. This is one of the biggest challenge in SBL. Why? Because once you complete the third hour and you enter the fourth hour, you will be very tired mentally, physically. You will be frustrated, irritated, panicking, and the last hour would be like hell. And this is where I need to train you guys how to handle the last hour, because if I say the last hour is kind of make or break, it all depends on your performance of the last hour. So we need to build that stamina, mental stamina, physical stamina, that in the fourth hour we are equally able to focus and concentrate, and we do not give up. Okay, this is where SBL is different from other papers. The third big difference is 20 marks, professional skills. So in your previous papers, the maximum marks for professional skills was 4. This one, 20 marks for professional skills. So imagine 20% of your paper is professional skills, and there is no chapter on professional skills. It is not a topic. It is kind of fluid, it is kind of liquid. Okay, it's intangible. We need to work very hard to grab these marks. It can be very easy, it can be very difficult. So as long as you know how to grab professional skills, these are cash marks. I love to call them cash marks because you can easily grab them. There are low hanging fruits. The good thing about SBL is that the examiner has clearly defined that there are 5 professional skills, which are evaluation skill, analysis skill, which we will cover today, communication skill, commercial acumen skill, and skepticism skills. And they have clearly defined these skills, and I would definitely make sure that you guys pretty much understand how to grab these cash marks. Okay. The fourth difference is less emphasis on models. So in the previous subjects like P1 and P3, there was a lot of emphasis on models, especially in P1. But in SBL, the examiner does not give a damn about models. If you use models, well and good. If you don't use models, equally well and good, as long as your answer makes logical sense and you are covering all the aspects. So this is very good news that we got rid of models are tricky. uh, we need to memorize them, we need to link with them, and these outdated models sometimes can make us confused. So my suggestion would be to stay away from models as much as possible. Even if you don't use models, you are safe. Okay, and in every examiner's comment, the examiner has mentioned that students try to use models unnecessarily. Okay, so we will not do that mistake. And lastly, what's different about SBL is there are so many formats. There's a report format, which I'm pretty sure you have been using in other subjects. There are briefing notes, there are memos, and then there is presentation slides. My God, I mean, have you made presentation slide in any other ACCA subject? Welcome to SBL. You will be making slides. Every attempt there is a presentation slide which you have to draw. There will be press release which you need to draft, emails and letters and project initiation documents. It's my job during the next 5 days to make you familiar with all the formats so that we can um, grab maximum marks. So formats is a very important thing for this. Right, so let me quickly go through the list of questions. And it says no voice, no voice. Few of you are struggling with the voice. I hope now it's fixed, because my administrator is confirming to me that everything is fine. Tips, obviously I would Mega, I would definitely share tips every day. I will be sharing exam tips, what to do, what not to do, and maybe in the last session, I would also share some tips on important topics. Good to see you, sir. Kindly guide me, please, about presentation slides. Definitely, Umays Khan, presentation slides. I would actually, not today, but I believe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will actually draw presentation slides by using an actual case study, right? So just be patient. Just make sure you attend every day. Um, Sir, kindly tell me, if we are asked to differentiate best options strategically, then can I use SAF? I will explain that when we will reach SAF. Sir, do you think there is still chance of passing remaining days? 100% you can pass SBL. Um, Let me repeat the question. That's a very important question. And guys, I need your attention. Um, So this is Aisha. Aisha is asking, do you think there is still chance of passing remaining days? 200% yes. But you need to work smart rather than hard. SBL is not about hard work, it's about smart work. Listen, it's 100 marks paper. 20 marks is professional marks. So you don't need to spend 2 days reading stuff on professional marks. So 20 marks is taken care of. Around 40 marks is general, and by general I'll say uh, no particular topic. It's a common sense question. So even if you haven't read any topic, you just have a little bit of smartness, little bit of IQ, little bit of common sense, you can give a logical answer. For example, if the company, if the guys, I need to shut down my camera because there is a bandwidth thing. So just give me a second. Right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I needed to off the camera, but I hope you guys are able to see the screen, right? Okay, just a second. I need to just fix my laptop setting. Yeah. Right. So I was trying to address the questions. So as I said, SBL, in a short answer, is that 60% is common sense paper, and 40% you need to know a little bit about the backgrounds and topic. So the topics which I have selected for the next 5 days, I have selected those topics which are important. So if you want to pass SBL between now and the next 3 weeks, just make sure you attend the 5 sessions, you do your practice, and some last moment tips I will share in my last class. Okay, Aisha? WhatsApp group for SBL, Salim is asking, and I believe several other students. I have shared my WhatsApp number on the first slide, and don't worry, I will also share my WhatsApp number towards the end. And I haven't created a WhatsApp group. I am directly giving my own WhatsApp number, and as soon as I create a group, I will send you the link. You just WhatsApp me directly and I will share the link. My personal WhatsApp was in the start, and I will just remind me, I will again share in towards the end. Uh, Sajid is saying SBL is slightly easier than options. I think SBL is very easy if you know the techniques. Okay. How much time we should allocate for reading and writing? I would definitely cover that tomorrow. Every day I will talk about one big exam technique, so make sure that you connect on time every day, because I will start with a big exam technique, and I don't want you to miss out on the exam technique. SBL is all about exam techniques. uh, WhatsApp group I will share. Professional skills I would definitely explain to you. uh, any previous webinars by you? No, this is my first webinar with ACCA, so please bear with me. um, um, yes, I agree, without camera the session would become boring, but there is a technical limitation here. There is another webinar of another sir as we speak, so we need bandwidths for two big webinars. We should read Kaplan book or memorize the models. Who's this? Mars is asking we should read Kaplan book or memorize the models. My friend Mars and all the listeners, stay away from the book. The biggest mistake you can do at this last moment is the book. Okay, do not read the book at this stage, right? Just focus on the webinar. Just all these handouts has been shared with you, so if you go through the handouts, and you will see in a bit, I have summarized everything in very layman simple language. Just stick with that. Okay, no book, no revision kit. We will just go through the basic simple notes which has been shared with you, and we will do the past papers. No more, because we don't have the time now. Okay. Okay. We don't have to memorize models, not really. And again, as I said, there is very less emphasis on models. I will take you through some basic models. I will make it simple. uh, you can't see me because of the camera limitation. WhatsApp link. Time management issue. Very good, Ahmed. uh, Ahmed is saying I feel there's a time management issue. I will talk to that. I will, I 100% agree. 90% of the reason why students fail is bad time management, and I would start tomorrow's session with time management techniques. Recording, yes, it's available. uh, what's the meaning of general marks? I'll just explain in a bit. All right, cool. So we talked about why SBL is different. Now, do you guys want to pass SBL? I repeat, do you guys want to pass SBL? 100% yes, right? So I think if we all want to pass SBL, it's very, very important that we must know why the examiner fails innocent students like you and me. If we know why the examiner fails us, we can then nail it, right? So let's go to the examiner's report for December 2019. The first reason, and there are many reasons, but I have just picked up the top three reasons, and this is in order of priority. So the first most common reasons why examiner fails innocent students like you and me is because he thinks that the answers are not linked with exhibits. I think he is right. If we do not link our answers with exhibits, the examiner would definitely fail us. Actually, the main purpose of SBL is that he wants to see whether we are able to link our answers with the case study. And if we are not linking with the exhibits, I can guarantee we will not gonna pass. The second reason why examiner is not happy with us is poor time management. Uh, he clearly mentions that Either students were not able to complete the paper, or although students were able to complete the paper, however, the quality of the answers towards the end was extremely bad, which shows that students were just trying to wrap up and struggle with time management. So poor time management is the second most common reason. And then the third reason in December was insufficient number of points as per mark allocation. So these are the top three reasons. So today I will guide you on problem number one, answers not linked with exhibits. Tomorrow I will start with exam techniques talking about poor time management. And then day after tomorrow I will talk about issue number three. So I think that these three are very valid reasons. And if we are not able to fix these three issues, then we do not deserve to pass, right? So you guys need to um, swear and confirm to me that you will not do these three mistakes, and it is my job to teach you how you can avoid these three mistakes. All right, now get ready for a surprise. I repeat, get ready for a surprise. Hmm. Now, guys, what is this? The examiner is saying that students not answering complete requirement. What the hell? For example, in December 19, in the examiner's report, the examiner said that in question number one, students analyzed pastel only and failed to give recommendation on future investment. So there was two parts or two requirements in question number one. The question was like analyze the general environment and then give recommendation on the future investment. So students, they completely forgot to talk about the second part of the requirement. Now, what do you call this? I call this stupidity. I cannot teach you this, correct? So this is something, if you are giving a core paper, I expect, and more importantly, the examiner expects that you do not do these silly mistakes. Look at point number five, not paying attention to format required. Now, how is that possible? Example, in question number 2B, required one presentation slide. Some students gave two slides and some gave none. Oh my God. How do you want me to address this with you guys? These are something which you and only you will fix. Look at point number 6. He feels that students, they gave long paragraphs with multiple points. So how many of you did that? Did you give long paragraphs with multiple points? All right. Uh, Point number 7, students using models unnecessarily. My God. And point number 8, recommendations being given without justifications. I think you can really sense that I am pissed off on this slide. I mean, these are, let's be honest. If you are a neutral person, and if you look at this, no, students not answering complete requirements, students not paying attention to formats, students giving long paragraphs with multiple points, uh, jammed into that paragraph, students using models unnecessary or forcefully, and recommendations are being given without backing up justifications. I mean, these are very silly points. I Please, 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 I beg all of you, do not do these mistakes. Okay, I cannot teach you these are common sense things. I mean, let's go back to this slide. I can understand that these are proper weaknesses and it is my job to teach you these things. But you not students not answering requirements or missing the formats, you need to pull up your socks on this, okay? Do I have your promise on this that you will not do these mistakes? Cool. Appreciate. All right. So let's start today's session. But let me quickly go through the comments. What should I do? Then you were please give examples, please discuss marking scheme. I will. Marking scheme is part of the third day session. What is the marking scheme? Yes, I swear we are ready. WhatsApp group, I will share my number. Audio is working fine, sir. The handout shared to us via email contains just day. Yeah, handouts right now is just for day 1 and day 2. Day 3 and day 4 will be shared tomorrow evening, and the last one will be shared a couple of days back. It's I'm just trying to finalize those. Right. So today's exam technique, how to link answers with exhibit. The first thing is, my dear friends, you have to link your answers with the exhibits, right? How do you do that? Okay. So the technique is that you read one paragraph or maximum 2 paragraphs on the exhibit and then you stop. I repeat, you do not have to read the entire exhibit in one go. When you start reading an exhibit, you read paragraph by paragraph. You read one paragraph and you stop, or maximum you read 2 paragraphs and then you stop. And then what do? You highlight relevant sentences, facts, and figures. Okay. So if you read, let's say you read one paragraph, you stop and then you highlight. Do not highlight while you are reading, because when you are reading, you tend to highlight everything. Okay, so I suggest that do not highlight while you are reading the paragraph. You first complete the paragraph, then you stop, and then you highlight some key words or key sentences. Now, the most common question I receive here is highlighters allowed? Absolutely yes. Highlighters are allowed in SBL paper. In fact, couple of attempts back, the global place winner student, he scored like something somewhere in 80s, 85 or 86 in SBL. I was shocked myself. And one of the comments he made was that he used multiple color highlighters. He used yellow to highlight qualitative information. He used pink to highlight financial information and so forth. um, that's ideal. I think most of us will not be able to do that, but at least use one highlighter, highlight the sentences. As opposed to underlining, I prefer highlighting. Okay, so once you have highlighted, that's not enough. The most important thing is the next thing, which is called referencing. This is where most students struggle, and this is where my suggested technique is, that you need to do referencing. Now, what do I mean by referencing? Referencing means that you write the question number against the highlighted sentence. I repeat, by referencing, I mean that you write the question number or some noting against the highlighted sentences. Okay, so now all the papers which you have given so far, you may be underlining or you may be highlighting, but most of you might not have been making your notes or writing the question number against the highlighted options, correct? It That technique might work if the case study is of 2 pages. But in SBL, the case study is of 10 to 12 pages. So if you highlight stuff and if you don't mark them, do not, if you don't put referencing or if you don't put question number against the highlighted things, you will forget as you read on and on. You cannot remember 12 pages. You will feel that you had read something somewhere, but now you will spend precious time in hunting for that. So in SBL, just highlighting is not enough. You need to know why you have highlighted and where exactly you will use that information, and you need to write that. Okay, so referencing is the key thing. If you want to link your answers with the case, you need to highlight and then reference it. Once you have read one or two paragraphs, you stop, you highlight, you do your referencing, and then you move on to the next one or two paragraphs and you repeat the same thing. So once you complete the reading of your first exhibit, automatically some notings will be there on your exhibit, and that would really help you in drafting your answer. You just compile those points, you consolidate those points while you are drafting and just present them in a logical sequence. So when you do your referencing, 70% of the job is done, and I would just exactly demonstrate to you how this will be done in the next, in the next question we will be doing. I will show you the referencing, and hopefully you will be able to see the benefit of referencing. You will be able to see that it's not difficult, and you will be able to see how advantageous it is. Okay, I'm sure most of you have not done the referencing thing before, but it's really important, it's really critical in SBL because it is a 12-page case study. Okay, so let me go through the questions. uh, do we need to read the book? No, I have already covered that. Should we only link our answers to specific exhibit, or we have to take the case study holistically? Very good question, Leon. Uh, I repeat the question so that everybody can, get focused. Leon is asking, should we only link our answers to specific exhibits, or we have to take the case study holistically? Ideally, the answer is holistically, but in the exam situations, most of you will not be able to, consider the holistic thing, right? So my job here is to talk and give tips according to the exam conditions. So my answer would be that do not take a holistic view. A few questions covers, the answers for few questions sits in more than one exhibits, and answers to few questions are sitting in one-to-one exhibits. So as long as you just, pick up your answers from the relevant exhibits, you are safe, you are done. Okay, so highlight answer sheet or question paper. Manpreet, you have to highlight the question paper. Whatever you are reading on the exhibit, you need to highlight. You can't highlight on the answer sheet, right? It's on the case study. Okay. Should we read question first or case study first? I'll teach you that. I will just teach you. We will read as in the natural sequence. We will read the introduction, then the questions, and then the exhibits. Sir, when we do referencing, do we need to mention the exhibit number in our answers? No. Good question, Muhammad Mainuddin. He's asking, sir, when we do the referencing, do we need to mention the exhibit number in our answers? No, because most of the time you are drafting a report or making a slide for the management, or you are a consultant. So in these documents, you don't give exhibits. The exhibits is only for your for your exam purposes. So do not mention the exhibit numbers. um should we read the question first and then start referencing according to them? Yes, yes. We will read the question in the natural sequence, and we will read the introduction first, then comes the questions, then comes the exhibit. So I will teach all that once we do a case. Sir, I think with your help, I will be able to pass. Great tips, Aisha. Absolutely. Yes, I'm very hopeful. Internet speed is okay. So two region two times. Okay, right. So today's big exam tip was how to link your answers with the case, and the main key, secret key is referencing, and we will just do that. So today's topic, let's start with a quick revision of today's topic. Today's topic is success factors. So please try to guess the meaning of success factors. Can we read in reverse? Success factors means factors of success. Just develop this habit of guessing. Okay, it will help you in the exam. When you come across a difficult terminology, your skill to guess will really help you. So success factors actually means all those factors which enable the organization to become successful. Right? As simple as that. Success factors can be both external factors and it can be due to internal factors. Can you guys think of 3 examples of external factors? I give you 10 seconds. Think of 3 examples of external factors due to which organization can be successful, which can help organizations to succeed. 3 examples of external factors. Right. So there could be many examples of external factors which could enable companies to perform well. For example, let's go through it. You know, a stable political situation. Okay, and government investing in infrastructure and development, government giving tax rebates. Economic growth is something very important. A developed, prosperous society. Uh, Industry growth, this is very important. Just a second, let me fix my pen here. So where's my pen? So you see, stable political situation is very important. Economic growth, if the economy of that country is growing, really it contributes to the growth in the revenue of the business. Industry growth is something very important, that the industry in which you are operating, if that's in a growth stage, that's in high demand, obviously your revenues will grow. So all these are external factors which positively affects the business. Now there can be internal factors as well, due to which companies can be successful. When we talk about internal factors, please remember 4 things. I repeat, whenever we talk about internal factors, please remember 4 things. Number 1, human resource. Number 2, financial resource. Number 3, IT. And number 4, brand. You guys need to memorize these 4 things. Okay, whenever we talk about internal resources, immediately 4 things should come to your mind: human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Come on, repeat with me: human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. One more time: human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Please memorize these four things. Whenever you see something on whenever you need to comment on internal factors, the most important is human resource. Then we need to talk about financial resource. Then you need to talk about technology, and you don't need to talk about brand. Right? Remember this list. Very, very critical. That's why I made you repeat it 3 times. Right. So whenever we talk about human resource, it means what? It means our employees, our management, our board of directors. Right. So one of the key reasons why organizations can be successful, one of the key reasons why organizations can beat their competitors is because of good, motivated, loyal employees, because of smart strategies which the board and the senior management are coming up with. Experienced management, loyal, motivated staff, good strategies, planning, all these are aspects relating to HR. When we talk about financial resource, that means that the company is consistently growing, it is consistently profitable, it's got strong cash flows, high reserves, retained earnings. All these are aspects relating to financial performance. On the technology, we talk about software, we talk about web based technology, online e-commerce. And on the brand side, we talk about good marketing, brand image, and you can also add goodwill. Okay, so these are four important pillars of internal factors. So in nutshell, whenever we talk about success factors, these are factors due to which an organization is successful. These could be external factors as well as internal factors, and this is a very concise list of external factors and internal factors. Any questions? Let me go through. Yes, Harish, very good. Mohammed Mohsin, you are right. Infrastructure, technology, excellent. I can see some good answers. Uh, Muhammad Abdi is saying external factors include pestle and Porter 5 forces. Absolutely yes. So without using the model as well, if you talk about government, political situation, the economy, the social, the technology, the industry, the demand, all these are covered under pestle and Porter 5 forces. Notes for today's topic, it is appearing in the handout section. I have a problem with the voice. Probably it's something to on your side. Is CSF and success factors same? Critical success factors, yes and no. In simple terms, yes, but if you, it can go into a lengthy discussion right now, so I'll skip that and maybe at a later stage I can help you. Voice issue. Okay. Right. So success factors done. So the next topic is SFA framework. It is also called SAF framework. Suitability, feasibility, acceptability, or suitability, acceptability, feasibility. The sequence doesn't matter. Again, I remind you, very, very critical model. This is perhaps the only model which has been asked the most number of times in SBL as compared to any other topic or any other model. And this topic was not asked in the previous attempt. So I believe this might be an important topic for your March 2020 attempt. First thing, when do we use this model? This model is used when we plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country. The country doesn't matter. The keyword is Acquire. Okay. Whenever we are thinking of acquiring another company, we apply SAF model, or we do our analysis using the SFA framework. Okay. So whenever, how would you know when you are reading a question, how would you know that you need to apply SFA framework? You will definitely see the word acquisition or the proposed acquisition word. You will see information given about another company, the proposed target company. So all this will help you identify and that the question, the topic is SFA. Okay. Suitability. Now suitability, it focuses on external factors. Okay. External factors we already talked about. So external factors, if you recall Pestel, Porter 5 forces, or even if you go without referring to a model, external factors we just discussed here. You see this list? All these are the most common external factors. So external factors will cover the political situation, government policies, economy, social, technological, the industry. All those will be covered under external. Do not talk about internal factors under the heading of suitability. I repeat, do not talk about internal factors under the heading of suitability. Suitability is only about external factors. Okay. Now, so information will be given to you about your home country or base country where you are currently situated. And then in the case study, information will also be given to you about the target country or the target city. If the acquisition is based in another country, then there will be information about another country. And if the acquisition is based in your own country but in another city, then some information about that city would be given to you in the case. And lastly, some information about the target company will also be given. So all you need to do is, while you are reading the exhibits, you just identify information about home country. You just write, maybe you can write HC, home country, opposite the paragraph in which the information is provided. And whenever you see information about the target country, you can just abbreviate it and write target country, TC, in front of the paragraph. You can do your referencing by using abbreviations. And wherever you see information about the target company, you can do target company. So we need to mark, while we are reading our case, information about home country. So when you will be drafting suitability, just to make your life simple, just give 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph will talk about home country. The second paragraph will talk about target country. And the third paragraph will talk about target company. Feasibility. Um, this one talks about internal factors. Suitability talked about external factors, and feasibility talked about internal factors. Okay. And do you remember the 4 things we need to touch upon? What are the 4 pillars of internal factors? Do you remember the pillars? Human resource, financial. I'm sorry, I'm not able to highlight properly. Human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Remember? So when we talk about feasibility, now we are trying to acquire another company, right? Remember the question? We are trying to acquire another company. So under SFA, you look at these three things. I need you to talk about three aspects under human resource. Do we have management experience? I mean, by this, what I mean is the management experience in that business or in that industry? Most likely, yes. For example, if I am a teaching institute in country A and I'm trying to acquire a teaching institute in country B, I do have the business experience or the management experience. Maybe if I cut this and write business experience, it might become easier for you to understand. So the first thing is, do we have the business experience? Yes or no? Most likely 99% of the time the answer to this will be yes. The second thing which you need to see is, do we have acquisition experience? Remember, SFA is used when we plan to acquire another company. So we need to see whether we have acquired any company in the past. If yes, then we do have the experience of acquisition. Acquisition by nature is complicated. So you need to see whether we have the expertise of acquisition, yes or no. This information will be provided to you in the case. And lastly, if it's an overseas acquisition, so we need to see whether we have overseas business experience, yes or no. Just remember these three things, okay? Under financial resource, we need to see two things. We need to see whether we have the funds to acquire the company. Obviously, if we are thinking of acquisition, we should have the funds. This is what exactly we will check. Now, either you have, if you are a cash rich company, then you might have reserves and cash. And if you are not a cash rich company, then you might need to take financing. So for that, you might need to check the gearing ratios. If your gearing ratio is low, then yes, you will be able to take loans to finance the acquisition. And if in case your gearing ratio is high, then you would struggle to raise the finance. So financial resources talks about whether you have the money to buy. IT and brand is just simple. Whatever information is given in the scenario, we will just reproduce that, whether we have the technology and the brand. Okay. So feasibility, you are done with, we look at human resource, financial resource, IT and brand. Acceptability, this one focuses on shareholders and financials. Okay. So the first para, will shareholder accept the proposed strategy? If we are going for acquisition, that is a big decision, right? So obviously the owners, the shareholders will need to approve before we actually execute. So under acceptability, the first thing we look at is whether the shareholder will accept the proposed strategy or not. So there are two possible scenarios. The first possible scenario is if it's a private company or if it's a listed company. Like, are we a private company or are we a listed company? So in case we are a private company or a family owned company, then in a private company or a family owned company, usually the shareholders themselves are the directors. They themselves are running the business. So in that case, if the directors are proposing, by default the shareholders will accept, because the directors and the shareholders are one and the same person. You understand? But if it's a listed company, then the owners are public and the directors are agents. So in that case, the shareholders will accept if the projected profitability or net present value of the proposed acquisition is positive, right? Shareholders, their objective is to maximize wealth. So if the acquisition is going to improve the company's overall profitability, obviously they will approve it. The second thing is, the second paragraph is, if the target company is based in another country, then we have to consider any cultural differences. So you just need to write one sentence that the company needs to consider any cultural differences. I will show you when we will draft. And the last para will review the financial projections and analysis. So obviously, you will be given some financial projections in the exhibits regarding the proposed acquisition, and you are expected to review the projections and make some comments about the financial aspects of the proposed strategy. Right. So we talked about suitability. Suitability focuses on external factors. We talked about feasibility. It focuses on internal factors. And we talked about acceptability. It focuses on profitability and financial projections. Right. Uh, Conclusion required. So if we do a SAF analysis, are we expected to give a conclusion as well? Short answer is no. Do not give any conclusion until and unless the question specifically asks you to conclude. Okay, stay away from conclusions or recommendations until and unless the question specifically mentions that you have to give a recommendation. Do not voluntarily give conclusions or recommendations. All right. Right. So let me take some questions. Is there any assumed knowledge we need from previous paper, Najia? Not really, Najia. 50% of the paper is common sense, and rest we will cover theoretically. It's a very, very easy syllabus. Sir, can we use staff for different products? SAF for different products? Can we use SAF for different products? I I would I would not use SAF for different products. I would use BCG matrix for that. So Tucker 5 and this model different. Absolutely. Tucker 5 question model is something very different, and SAF is very different. My friend, stay away from Tucker 5. Okay, get rid of models, shave off all the models from your memory. Okay, Tucker is also for acquisition. No, for acquisition, please use SAF. Okay, keep it simple. Sir, if we acquire another company, is Porter Diamond a better model to use? No. For acquisition, just use SAF. A simple logic is Porter Diamond will only talk about external factors. What about internal factors? What about financials? Right? So SAF is the most appropriate model to use for acquisition. And I don't like Porter Diamond. It's a slippery model, so please stay away from that. How do I ask questions, Vajia? You just type your questions in the question box. Is there a WhatsApp group? Yes, I will share my WhatsApp number at the end of the class so that I make sure that you stick till the end, right? All right, difference between Tucker with this model, forget about it, Mr. Altaf. Forget about Tucker model. Okay. Sir, you said don't read the textbook, but what about the technical articles? Forget about it, my friend. You are now late. At the last stage, we cannot read too much things. So I would rather focus on basic topics and focus a lot on practice. And my handouts do cover all the articles wherever required. Okay, don't worry. For commercial acumen, don't we have to give recommendations? No, Kasim. Recommendation has nothing to do with commercial acumen. Okay, recommendation will only be given if the examiner specifically asks you, otherwise stay away from it. um are there any chances that I will lose marks if I conclude without being asked to conclude? Wisdom, I don't think so. If you are not, if you don't conclude and there's no requirement in the question, then you will not lose marks. You know why I'm saying not to give conclusions? Let me give you a background. uh, Many students are asking, they are kind of worried or they are surprised why I am saying do not give conclusion. Let me give you the reason as short as possible. You know, ideally, yes, I would love to give conclusions and recommendations, but under exam conditions, I strictly suggest you don't give conclusions unless specifically asked by the examiner. The reason is you guys are not very experienced in drafting conclusions. So, supposing you did a SAF and you did a detailed SAF analysis over 3 or 4 pages, and then you try and give conclusions in half a page, it's not possible. Conclusions will take a lot of time, and I am sure that most of the students will not be able to give a convincing solid conclusion. Um so rather, you will lose precious times and you will not be able to get good marks. So from a cost benefit analysis, you will lose more and gain less if you spend time on conclusions, if it is not required in the question. If it is required in the question, then you have to give. Please don't get me wrong. Okay. It's amazing that you are telling forget about models. Yes, Mars, I think you joined late. Look at the examiner's comments. Just remember basic models like Pestel, Porter, SAF, but don't talk to me about Tucker's 5 question model. Those were important models for P1. Okay, understand that SBL is now different. Um, the notes are in the handouts. Are there any numerical if acquisition is asked? Absolutely yes. Numbers will be given. If evaluation is tested, don't we have to conclusion? Smita, no. Conclusion is nothing to do with professional skills like commercial acumen and evaluation. Just give conclusion if the question specifically mentions, otherwise stay away from it. Okay, trust me, time management is more important. If you get stuck in drafting a conclusion, you will screw up your time management. Okay, can we use this model as it seems fit for every situation where decision making involves? Muhammad Mohsin, yes, I agree with you. But again, I would just use models wherever necessary, not for every situation. Many of us just asking unnecessary question and distracting you from the key point. That's fine. This is our first class, so you are trying to get to know me, my approach, and I'm trying to understand your approach. Sir, what do you mean by recommendation should go with justification? I will explain to you with a example later on when we do a case. Will you explain BCG? No, I don't think it's part of my 5-day thing because I think it's not important. From exam point of view, we have limited time. Models were a big problem. Memorize these were around 21 models. Absolutely, Nayab, I agree. Models, 21 models. Uh, Examiner hates models in SBL. So the lesser, the merrier. I will give you a list of basic models. Okay, I will give you a list of basic models tomorrow. And other than that, we just chill. Life made easy by excluding this bookish knowledge. Yes, Kasim, SBL is about linking with the exhibits. Half the answers are sitting in the exhibits. So stay away from models and bookish knowledge. So you mean each requirement go with its exhibit? Yes, not each requirement. Half the requirements are one-to-one exhibits, and half of them, the information sits in 2 or 3 exhibits. I will show that. Right, right, right. So the last topic, financial projections. After that, I will give a 10 minutes break so that you guys digest, and then we will start our question for today. So financial projections, each and every attempt financial projection is given as one exhibit, and I want you guys to be an expert in analyzing financial projections. Okay, so the first thing is no calculations required. So sit back and relax. You are not expected to calculate NPVs and IRRs or make cash flow projections. Everything will be given to you. You will just sit like a CFO and you will analyze the projection. This is what I do on my job. Since I am the CFO, I don't make projections. My team or my consultants, they make the projections. My job and the job of the board of directors is to review those projections, and that is exactly what you guys are gonna do. Review the projections. Okay, so what do you exactly look at? Okay, so I have given a checklist. You see this checklist? Oops, sorry guys. You see this checklist? I have given 4 items. So whenever you see a financial projection in any of the exhibit, check these 4 things. I repeat, whenever you see financial projections, check these 4 things and you are done. Number one, make sure that the projections is based on discounted cash flows. Sometime I believe one of the paper the examiner gave accounting numbers like profits and losses. For long-term decision makings, we never look at P&L. I'm sure you all of you know that for any long-term decision making, we always go for discounted cash flows. We look at NPVs, we look at IRRs, we do not look at accounting profits, right? So the first and basic thing is make sure that the projection sitting in front of you is based on discounted cash flows. Okay. Second thing, you need to review any assumptions for apparent mistakes. So a few of the assumptions will be mentioned underneath the projections. So just go through them line by line. Since you have already read the case study, you have read the previous exhibits, you will be able to spot any apparent mistake in the assumptions. So if you're able to identify any stupid mistake, any wrong assumption, just mention that this particular assumption does not make sense. Or if you are not able to spot any mistake in the assumptions, then you just write one general sentence and you say that the adequacy or the validity of the assumptions needs to be reconfirmed. Just act like a CFO, man. Okay. 3, quickly calculate the payback and mention it in your answer. This is one thing which would really impress the examiner. Whenever a financial projection is given, you just quickly calculate the payback period. It is a quick calculation. It may not take more than 30 seconds, but it will really impress the examiner and it will help you grab professional marks. So always remember to calculate the payback. You can say the payback is 5 years, 10 months, or the payback is 3 years, 3 years, 6 months. Okay. And then mention in your answer that a sensitivity analysis should be done. And this is another point where we are trying to impress the examiner. You know what is a sensitivity analysis? You don't know? It doesn't matter. Examiner knows what a sensitivity analysis is, and you are not supposed to do a sensitivity analysis. But as a CFO, whenever I see a projection, I want to see a sensitivity analysis, which means that I want to see couple of more scenarios. What if the revenues are lower by 20%? What impact does it have on my bottom line? Or what if the costs go up by 10%? This is called sensitivity analysis. So as a CFO or as a board, I would definitely want to see a sensitivity analysis. So you don't have to do or calculate yourself. Just write one sentence that a sensitivity analysis needs to be done. That's it. An examiner will become your fan. So remember, boys and girls, these four things. Whenever you see a financial projection in front of you, just go through these four items and you are done. And I would actually demonstrate that in our case study. So now the question is there. Let me quickly go through the questions. Uh, can we write the answer without any model? Absolutely yes. Models are not mandatory. As long as your answers covers all the logical points, you are done. Sir, you mean each requirement go with its exhibit? Not really. I'll explain that later. I'm getting too many questions. Let me quickly go through them. Uh, Can we write answers without model? Yes. Under question one, there are two subs A and B, so we should show briefing paper for both A and B. Yes. Mohammad Adil, yes. I will demonstrate that once we do the question, but quick answer is yes. Sir, kindly send us a format of memo, report, slide. Oh yes, I will actually draw those and show it to you. For using SAF, the hints are providing by you would be enough. Absolutely, yes. All the hints are more than enough. Adil, I replied to your questions, I hope. No ratios to be calculated. Manpreet, ratios will be calculated if a P&L and balance sheet is given. Normally, for proposed acquisitions, the financial projections and cash flows are given. So for that, we look at these things, not the ratios. Can we get the slides? Yes, it is in the handout section. You can download it. You can. It's also on your email, I think. Sir, for comparison, we use it percentage form. So we have 10 years data. How we should proceed? I'll explain that when we talk about ratio analysis. Should we show the workings? Not at all. So this is a good question. Should we show the workings of our calculation? Who's this? Shaza Binte Rizwan, I like your name. Should we show the workings? Can I ask you a counter question? When you send something to the board of directors, or when you submit a report to the chairman, do you show calculations? Do you expect the chairman would be interested in looking at your calculations? No, right? I hope I answered your question. Please remember, SBL is a paper where you're drafting is supposed to be at the board of directors level. So just keep in mind that your report is going to submit to the board of directors, the chairman, the NEDs. So no calculations, please. Sensitivity analysis have its own limitations. Oh, forget about it. I'm just writing one sentence to impress the examiner, nothing more, nothing less. Do we have to show the relevant calculations or payback, Kasim? No. Smita, sir, do we know if it is a financial projection question? Yes, you will immediately see when you see the exhibit. Thanks for amazing lecture. Thank you. Most welcome, Laiba. Smita, how do we know? Yes, you will see I will show you the projections, how it looks. PID and projections are the same. No, Asad, PID is different and projections is different. I will show you both. Can we have to comment on current conditions? I will talk that when we solve the question. Adil, I think I've answered your question. If not, please repeat your question down there. Uh, Sir, if you're going to acquire company and financial statement shows revenue, operating profit, ROS, in if the financial statement shows P&L balance sheet, then we will do some ratios, and I will tell you which ratios. Operating profit margin and ROS are the basic things. Yes, we will do that. Chances to pass only just by this session, 100%. I hope and pray. Okay, for today you are only focusing on proposed investments. Yes, SFA framework. Sir, I would have no tutor support, so how will I know my practice? I will answer that in the last session. Just please make questions relevant to today's topic. Yes, this webinar should be enough for you to pass. I Toyin is saying I actually input calculations when I report to the chairman. No, Toyin, stop that. Okay. In SBL, no need to put calculations. How important is to remember book? Not at all important. Just remember some basic topics, which will be covered in my session and handouts. DCF, what do you say, sir? Wait, good to know. All right. Okay, cool, guys. So just now we talk about success factors, internal and external. We talked about SAF, which is suitability, feasibility, acceptability, and we talked about financial projections. Now we are equipped to do the most difficult question of SBL, most repeated question. This is our practice number 1. Topic covered is success factors, SFA, financial projections. We will do SBL December 2018, question number 1A and B. Right. So I will give you guys a 10-minute breaks. It's 9:25 here, and I will exactly start at 9:35. Stretch out, digest, and now come back with full energy so that we can attack this question. Right. See you guys in 10 minutes. Over and out. Right. So I hope you guys are back. Just for the benefits of doubt, I will wait another 30 seconds for people who are not punctual. So in the meantime, let me go through some additional questions. Ahmed is asking, is there any chance of this topic coming in the exam? I think high chance. Um, any previous ACCA knowledge that we require for SBL? Not really. Will this week's SBL webinars be recorded and uploaded? Absolutely, yes. It would be recorded and uploaded on a daily basis. Um, Abdul Mannan is saying, can you please give a short summary regarding meaning of exhibit before starting this question? That's fine. I will show you an exhibit and you can understand. Is it enough to do last 4 papers in ACCA website? I hope so. I'm trying my level best. This session is purely from exam point of view with the objective of making you pass. Preeti is asking, is it necessary to answer the question in the order asked, or can we do it any order? That's a very interesting question, and I will answer that in my last day exam tip session. Aisha is saying, can we draft answers and send to you for your quick review? Okay. Yes, I will explain. So any questions regarding the thing, I will just show you what to do by using the actual case study. Where to practice? BPP, Kaplan or book? No Mahi, no book, no revision kit, no BPP, no Kaplan. Just simple notes which are handouts which I have shared, and the actual past papers of SBL, 3 specimen past papers and 4 actual papers, total in 7. How many case study before final exam? All the SBL questions, my friend Abdullah Umrao, all the questions. Right, so I think you guys are back, all charged up. Are you guys ready for your first big SBL question? Excellent. Now, as we will do the question, I will also be sharing some tips as we go along, right? So very, very important that I have your attention. So professional skills are okay. In this particular question, we are required to demonstrate analysis skills and evaluation skills. So analysis skills is simply that, you thoroughly review the given information and investigate reasons of the current status. So it simply means that if any information is given, you pick it up and you look at the root cause and you investigate what's happening, and you tell the examiner that these are the factors due to which this thing is happening. So analysis is basically kind of investigation, trying to look for the reasons behind the situation. Evaluation is very simple. Evaluation skill simply means that you talk about pros and cons both. Okay, so evaluation means that a proposal, a proposal will be given to you, and if you are asked to evaluate, then you talk about both positive points and negative points. So very, very simple, analysis and evaluation. Okay, so let me open up the question. So guys, this is actual SBL paper for December 2018. It's called Highlight Company. Okay, and I've given some relevant extracts only. So this is how your actual paper will look like. Okay, it's actually horrifying. Do you see this? And then the first thing which you will see is kind of a introduction. So it will look something like this: introduction. And do you see some exhibits towards the end? This is a standard thing, that always the first page will be the background or the introduction of the company, followed by a list of exhibits. And in each and every attempt, you have been given 6 exhibits, not 5, not 7, 6 exhibits, right after the brief introduction. So, and then after that, the requirements will come. You see, the question 1 and then question 2 and this and that, and after the questions, each exhibit will come in sequence. Exhibit 1, it's of 2 pages, and then exhibit 2, and it's another 1.5 page, and then exhibit 3, you see some financials. So this is basically a standard flow of your paper. I would just increase the view size. I just wanted to show you how the horrifying paper looks like. So there will be an introduction, followed by a list of exhibit, followed by the requirements, and then followed by each exhibits one by one. Okay, so let's increase it. So are you guys able to see the fonts and everything? I hope. Right, so let's I haven't read the requirements yet. Okay, there is no point in reading the requirement, because you will not understand the requirement unless you read the background first. So we have to read the background and then followed by requirements. Okay, do not directly jump to the requirements. Second thing is, when we read the introduction, I will highlight whatever I think sounds important, because I really don't know the requirements. So any important piece of information, any background, anything which is I think is important, like it's up to my judgment, I will highlight. The second important thing about reading introduction is you have to visualize the company. You have to put yourself in the company's shoes. Okay, so I always read the requirement very carefully, very slowly. I'm trying to imagine myself that I am part of that company. I i imagine that maybe I am the CEO of that company. I try to put myself in their shoes. The more you are able to imagine that you are part of the company, It will become easier for you to understand the problems and the exhibits and come up with solutions. So it's all a mental game. You need to warm up and become part of the company. All right. So let's read the requirement with the objective of trying to imagine and try to think that we all are CEOs of this company. This is my company, and I want to understand what's going on. All right. Highlight Hotels. Highlight is a listed hotel chain located in the country of D-Land. D-Land has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in last 15 years. D-Land also has a highly developed tourism industry. Please digest what it says. All positive information, right? So we are a listed hotel chain. I would like to imagine that I am the CEO of a hotel chain. So imagine what a hotel looks like. A chain of hotels. So I might have lots of hotels and it's listed. Okay. Highlights competitive advantage is built on its highly competitive pricing strategy. And this has been a significant factor in its current position as the leading hotel brand in D-Land. Hmm. Very, very important, I think. They are a leading hotel brand, and the most significant factor is their competitive pricing strategy. Interesting. Highlight normally attracts those travelers seeking no frills accommodation at a reasonable price and as such is referred to as a budget hotel chain. So we are a budget hotel. So no frill strategy. That means we compete based on low price. Every Highlight hotel room provides an ensuite bathroom, TV, and free Wi-Fi internet access, and each hotel offers a complimentary breakfast service. However, Highlight do not provide additional services such as bars, restaurants, or leisure facilities. Every Highlight hotel has a similar layout and design and are mostly located at airports, city center locations, and close to major transport routes such as D-Land's main road networks and train stations. So I think location. I'm just trying to identify some stuff. I don't know whether I can use it or not, but I just identified it. So what's the key message from this paragraph? That we are the leading brand, and the significant factor behind that is our pricing strategy, and we are a no frill strategy, which means that we offer lowest price. And one of our uh, uh, you know mm, uh, important point is our locations. Okay, we are located at the airports and all the strategic places. Highlight was founded 40 years ago. Wow. Beginning with two hotels in the capital city of D-Land. Since then, it has grown significantly, operating 510 hotels, approximately 46,000 rooms by the end of 7/8 financial year. Note, Highlights financial year end is 30th June. Okay, so let me highlight something 40 years ago. Hmm. It is now the largest hotel chain in terms of number of hotels in D-Land. Oh my God. Since it was founded, all of Highlight's growth has been achieved organically within the land, with investment being gradually made in new Highlight branded hotels each year throughout the land. Although it is currently the leading hotel brand in the land in terms of market share, Highlight faces fierce competition from several home based and international hotel chains. Obviously, it doesn't matter whether you are a market leader or not, you will be always facing competition, right? So, what's the key message here in this paragraph? We are a very old, 40 years old company, and we have grown organically. We are right now the market leader in terms of number of hotels. We are also market leader in terms of market share, and uh, we are facing fierce competition. Very basic. I need you to imagine and digest and visualize all this. In last 10 years, Highlight has made significant investment in web-based technology, which has resulted in over 75% of room bookings in 7-8 financial year being completed through the Highlight website. Very important. So they have made significant bookings. Sorry guys, I'm not able to highlight. I don't know why. Okay, here you go. This one is important. And this one is important. Okay, significant investment in technology and online. Bulk of our bookings is online, something very very important. I would like to keep a note of that. Highlight operates with low number of staff in each hotel, but the staff in these hotels is highly trained to provide excellent customer service. Okay, Highlight values its staff highly, and it's strongly committed to staff development and retention. Highlight pays above the D-Land national minimum wage in order to encourage staff commitment and loyalty. So I think let me do some notings, general notings, because there's a lot of information you see. I will lose track as we go on. There are 10, 12 pages. We might lose track. So you remember the referencing technique. I want to do some notings. So the first, this one I will say technology. Let me reduce the thickness of the marker, please. So this talks about technology. So and this talks about stuff. Okay. And this talks about competition. This talks about market market leader. This talks about location. And this talks about pricing. And this talks about booming economy and booming industry. I want to take a pause here, and I just showed you what I mean by referencing. It was as simple as you just saw right now, that instead of writing question numbers, because I haven't read the questions as yet, I just highlighted what I thought was important information, and I just mentioned my wordings on one hand. I'm just writing everything on the left hand side. I'm not making it hot potch. I'm not writing it somewhere in the middle or on the right side. I'm just following one column. You see, it's very very organized on one side. So if I want to search for any information while drafting, if I go to the introduction page, I know there is information on economy, there's information on industry, then pricing, then location, then market leader statistics, then something about competition, then technology, then staffing. Can you see, can you feel the importance of referencing? This little bit of referencing will make your life easy while you are drafting, I swear upon God. Okay. And because when you read a 12-page case study, you will definitely forget and you will spend precious time in searching where the hell you read that information. That's why you have to mark. So ladies and gentlemen, do you understand the technique of referencing, and are you okay for me to proceed? Thank you, Sayyid Jalal. Appreciate. Nice move by Altaf. Laiba. Okay. So it's very simple. All these little things matter. Okay. Now, let me enlarge again. So we're done with the background. Okay. It's about a hotel. So you are a senior business analyst working with the business analysis department of Highlight. That's my role. What am I? I am a senior business analyst working with the business analysis department of Highlight. So I'm one of the employees. You report to the chief business analyst who reports directly to the finance director on a wide range of business and strategic issues. Okay. The following exhibits should be used to undertake the tasks asked of you by the chief business analyst and the finance director. So let's look at the exhibits. Exhibit 1 is Chief Executive's Statement, Report on Performance for Year ending 30th June 2018. Okay. Exhibit 2 is D-Land Hotel Industry Report. Now, what is D-Land? D-Land is our home country, right? We are operating in D-Land. We are the market leader in D-Land, right? Exhibit 3, fact sheet relating to highlights proposed acquisition target. Yes, I saw the word acquisition target. Which model, ladies and gentlemen? Acquisition target. I'm mentally prepared for acquisition target. I'm 99% sure. Exhibit 4, D-Land news article. Exhibit 5, extract of senior management team briefing. Exhibit 6, board meeting minutes, November 2018. So always you will be given 6 exhibits. The name of exhibits might differ from paper to paper, but essentially the few of the exhibits are always there. So I think exhibit 1, chief executive's report, should contain very useful information which we might be able to use in lots of questions. So I remember one of the friends asking this question, are exhibits 1 to 1? So I believe exhibit 1 is not 1 to 1. This exhibit might be useful for more than one requirements. I have a feeling, because by nature a CEO report on performance will talk about several things. D-Land's hotel industry, I think it's a specific report exhibit. It might get used in maybe one requirement. I'm not sure. Fact sheet relating to highlight proposed acquisition target. Can you guess, this exhibit would be 1 to 1 or it could be used in many questions? I think fact sheet relating to proposed acquisition target is a very specific exhibit. So I believe this will be a 1 to 1 exhibit. And by 1 to 1, I mean that this exhibit will pertain to one particular question. D-Land news article. Generally, these articles, they cover multiple information. So maybe this can be used in multiple questions. Extract of senior management team briefing. I don't know, it's extract of senior management team briefing might cover multiple questions. And board meeting minutes. Normally, board meeting is a exhibit which covers multiple requirements. Okay, so the reason why I'm taking you through this one-to-one or multiple is that tomorrow I will explain how this can save your time. Okay, so normally chief CEO statements, board meetings, annual report, these are multiple exhibits, like multiple requirements, and other than that, one to one. Right, so we are done with the introduction. Let's recap. Let's imagine ourselves as part of this company. Close your eyes. Imagine that you are a director or CEO or CFO of the leading hotel chain in D-land. 510 hotels, great pricing strategy, great investment in technology, great investment in staffing, good locations. However, we face fierce competition. Okay, good. Now comes the requirement. Question number one. The board of Highlight is currently looking to develop the Highlight business model in Vilandia, a developing country with good growth potential. However, as operating in a different country would be a new strategic direction for Highlight, the finance director has stated that before any such strategy is considered, it is important to understand the key factors in its home country of D-land which have driven Highlight's success. So I saw something about Finlandia, a developing country with good potential. Required. The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to become successful in its home country of D-land. 16 marks. Wow. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating analysis skills in investigating and considering information from a range of sources. 3 marks. Very, very important. What do we look at? First of all, we look at what format is required. So, do you know what format is required? Briefing notes. And then what exactly are we supposed to do? Discuss the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of D-land. So, first of all, do you guys agree that Highlight was successful in its home country? Yes or no? Absolutely yes, right? So, it is definitely successful. And how do you know it's successful? A lot of information was given in the introduction. Leading my hotel, leading market share, largest hotel in terms of rooms, all these things. But why was it successful? What could be the reasons? The reasons could be both external, like a thriving economy and a thriving tourism industry, and it can also be internal, like good strategies, good pricing strategy, good staff, human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Come on guys, repeat with me. Human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Remember internal factors. So I think 16 marks if we are able to identify 10 to 12 factors, be covering both external and internal, it would be good. And then the third thing you need to look at is professional skills. So professional skills is analysis in this particular question. Analysis skills is simply, investigation. You just pick up information from various exhibits, put them together, give them a little bit of a background, and you are done. You don't have to do anything extra to score analysis skills. Just try to use information from the case study, look at the root cause. So then what are the root causes of their success, both internal and external? So automatically you will be done with this. So 1A talks about success factors. The Let's move on. The board of highlight has identified an existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay, located in Villandia, which it is considering to acquire. The chief business analyst has passed you a fact sheet which he prepared containing data relating to the proposed acquisition required. Using the fact sheet referred above and any other relevant information, prepare a report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire the Comfy Stay hotel chain. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills in presenting a balanced and objective appraisal of the relevant information relating to the proposed acquisition of the Comfy Stay hotel. So, can anyone tell me evaluation skills? How can you score high on evaluation skill? What exactly you need to do? R's. Laiba, Smita, Chris, Ahmad. No, 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 no. Do a SFA is not. The SFA is the model, right? For you to score high on evaluation skill, you need to talk about pros and cons. It said in the case, present a balanced appraisal, right? So whenever you see evaluation skill, you do pros and cons. Make sure that your answer doesn't talk about pros only. You should also cover cons and vice versa, right? So now something very important. Now something very important. I need all your attention now. I'm about to tell you another important technique. So when we read the question, so let me hide this question. Okay, let me hide the question. Can you guys tell me what were the requirements? Do you remember the requirements? We read 1A and we read 1B. How many of you remember the requirements? I'm just reading all your comments. How many of you remember the requirements? It was just 1A and 1B, right? Ramesh is saying he forgot one. I like your honesty, Ramesh. Briefing notes, Toyan, I'm asking about the requirements, not the format. Do you remember what was required? Not the format, but the question, the topic. 60%. No. Fact sheet of Comfy. No, fact sheet of Comfy is an exhibit. Now you see, I just proved my point. Very few people, very few intelligent people in this group were able to remember the requirement. I'm not able to remember the requirement like most of you. I think I remember one success factors, and then let me think. It was the other one was proposed evaluation of a proposed something, right? So it was success factors and it was proposed acquisition. Now, imagine when there are 10 requirements. We just read two and we were struggling to remember. Imagine when there are seven, no, usually there are 7 to 10 requirements. Would you be able to remember all the requirements by heart? Because actually you have to remember the requirements, because when you are reading the case study and when you are reading the exhibits, how the hell you think you will mark if you don't remember the requirements? So you guys have to remember the requirements, because then only you will be able to identify and highlight and do your referencing, correct? So we all agree that we need to remember the requirements, otherwise we will not be able to highlight the relevant extracts. But how the hell we remember so many requirements? I can't remember. So the next big technique, I make a list of requirements. Now let me find my pen. Uh, 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 uh. No, I don't like this one. Give me a second. Eraser. And let me find another pen which is better. Right, list of requirements. What do we do now? I will just quickly go to the question. I don't want to rely on my memory. 1A, success factors. And how much is the marks for success factor? 16 plus 3 professional, 19 marks. And 1B is evaluate the proposal to acquire. How much is the marks? 16 plus 4, 20 marks. I would quickly go there and I would say 1A Did you see what I just did? I made a list. So when we read the requirements, I would quickly jot down the keywords of on a piece of paper, okay, so that I have the requirements in front of me as a one small list. So for example, I know that 2A of this question was talking about social and environmental aspects. I think it was 12 marks, and 2B was something about something I don't remember. And then there was this 3A about something, and then 3B about something, and some marks, and some marks. Okay. So in the end, when you make a list of all the requirements, it should look like this. The second thing is why did we make this list? Because I will keep this list in front of me while I am reading the exhibits. I repeat, why did we make this list? I will keep this list in front of me while I am reading the exhibits, because I cannot remember all the requirements. So when I am reading the exhibits, I will stop after reading one paragraph and two paragraph, and I will take a quick look at my list and see if there's anything relevant which I can highlight and do my referencing. Is that clear? Why this list is required? It may take 1 minute for you to make this list. I understand that. One precious minute will be invested in this list, but then this list will save some time, because then you don't have to read or glance through the each and every requirement. You just have all the requirements summarized on one page in front of you. Now the next big question is, where do you make this list? I repeat, the question is, where do you make this list? So this list will be made on last page of your answer sheet. So you will have your answer sheet. So you just use the last page. You can write on top of that rough working so that the examiner knows that this is not to be checked. And then on the last page, you make your list. Okay, why did I say on the last page of your answer sheet? You can also make this list on the last page of your question paper, but no, you make this list on the last page of your answer sheet so that you can keep it right besides your question paper, so that while you are reading the exhibits, your list of requirements is right in front of your eyes. That's why I said right on your answer sheet. Okay, so right now, since for this particular question, we are just focusing on success factor and social and acquisition SFA, I am not making this list. But for when you do a full question, you will have to make a list. Okay, let's go back. So we know what we need to look for. So today we will just do 1A and 1B. So now another big thing. So we read the introduction. We saw the list of exhibits. Then we read all the requirements, and we know that we have to look for success factors and we have to look for acquisition information. And now the next thing is exhibits. But before you read the exhibit, you go back to the introduction and please do your referencing. Now, since we know what exactly are the requirements, then you go back to your introduction. You have already highlighted something, and just try and do your referencing on that. Okay, many times some vital information is hidden in the introduction. Examiner is very cunning, I'm sorry to say that. Many times some vital information is hidden in the introduction. That information is not mentioned on the exhibits. So do not miss the introduction. Since we have already highlighted some key information, all you need to do is go through that key information and see whether you can pick up something which can help you in your answer. So Great economy, booming industry. Where can we use that? Where can we use that? Is it a success factor? 1A. I will just go and write 1A. Done. One of the factor is highly competitive pricing strategy. Success factor 1A. Locations 1A. They are a market leader, largest chain, organically grown, faces stiff competition. Facing competition is not a success factor. Market leader is not a success factor. They are a market leader because of the success factors. Technology is a success factor. Staffing is a success factor. Human resource. So now you understand what I just mentioned the question numbers. Now let's hit the exhibit. We will read one paragraph. Oh, look at the CEO. I like him. Smart guy. Yeah. Maybe you can be the CEO of this company who you never know. Right. So see exhibit 1 is Chief Executive Statement Report on Performance year ended 30th June. Yes, Vajiha, smart pricing strategy is a success factor. Anything which leads to success, and one of the significant factor which is due to the which is causing them success is their competitive pricing strategy. Right, so let's read one paragraph, stop, highlight, and then move on. In highlight, we have created DLand's most popular hotel brand. It is the strength of our brand, along with our superb hotel staff who deliver great service every day, which underpins our success and is a key driver of our growth. What is a key driver? Strength of our brand and superb hotel staff. We continue to deliver a market leading customer experience by focusing on the quality of our service, good service, best choice of locations, and great value for money. Through our network of 510 hotels, we offer customers widest choice of locations, 20% more than our nearest competitor. This means our guests are able to stay closer to their destination, which is important to both our business and leisure customers. Okay, so good things or bad things? Strength of our brand, superb hotel staff, quality of locations, widest choice. These are all good things. I would just mark it as success factors. They are mostly internal: human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Next topic, another year of strong sales and profit. I think it will talk about financials. This has been another successful year with record levels of customer satisfaction. Wow. This has helped to achieve sales growth, leading to a rise in profit and strong returns to our shareholders. We now employ almost 11,000 people working across 510 hotels and head office. 11,000 people, my God. In the financial year, total sales grew by 9.1% on the previous year to 1072 million. Okay. We achieved a 9.5% growth in our pre-tax profit. Okay, some numbers. And this growth in profit has produced a strong operating cash flow, which has supported capital investment in the business. The total hotel room occupancy remains high, and we finished the year with an average room occupancy of 79.5%. All right, so I just highlighted some numbers. Being finance guys, I like numbers. I'm sure you do as well. The main thing is, where can we use this information? Total sales grew by 9%, 9.5% growth. These are all success. They are not success factors, but they are the result of success factors that we achieve all this growth. Strong operating cash flow. That could be a success factor, that we are, because of that we are able to support capital investments. Okay, so maybe this thing I would just mark as 1A, and then I will decide later. A continued commitment to invest. Let's see. There is a continued growth of the budget hotel market as the luxury and mid-price sectors continue to decline. Aha, interesting. That's an external thing. This is good for us because we operate as a budget. We offer the widest choice of locations. We have already covered that. The best value of money, and through investment in our sites and hotel staff, a great product in the marketplace. We already highlighted all these things, so we know all this. This year, we invested over 80 million on refurbishment as well as upgrading customer digital experience. That could be a success factor, that we are investing in refurbishment and customer digital experience. Our website welcomes 80% of our customers who choose to book directly with us, giving us a significant comp edge. So I think this is giving them competitive edge. So I'm pretty sure this I can use under 1A, technology. However, listen, whenever you see the word however, normally it means some negative points will come. Okay. So far we have seen all the good points. Now we are seeing however. So however, the environment in which we operate is evolving. Competitor dynamics are changing through both traditional and disruptive channels. Customers are demanding more value and greater quality. Technology is developing quickly, especially digitally, and with cost structures under pressure, there is a growing need to focus on productivity and efficiency. In order to continue to be successful in the future, we will need to invest to extend our current capabilities and also build new ones. So competition is changing. There is cost structures under pressure. Okay. Can we use this as success factors? No, these are negative points. Anything on SFA? Anything about our acquisition? Maybe, maybe not. So just let me make a note. I don't know which question, so I will just say this paragraph talks about competition and cost pressure. So I'm just putting a tag or a name to the paragraph. Okay. So when I don't know where to use, I just give a tag. Now, key performance indicators. Commitment to shareholders, revenue growth 9.1%. We already know that, but the target was 8%. Very good. Pre-tax profit 9.5% growth, target 9%. Oh my God. So they did really well in this. They did really well in this. Commitment to staff. Staff retention rate 52%, target 55. They missed this target. 6.2 training days per employee, target 5.5 days. I think they achieved this target. Commitment to customers. Customer satisfaction 91.6%, target 90%. Wow. Customer return visits 47%, target 45%. Well done, Mr. CEO. Commitment to the environment. 2.4% reduction in CO2 emission, target 3%. So I think they missed this target. And recycling of 85% of waste, target 83%, they achieved that. Where do we use this information? I know that in requirement 2 that talks about social and environmental factors. So probably I will use that, but since you don't know, so I'll just skip that. Focus for future. Now Mr. CEO is so Asad is asking, sir, please explain training days. They took more days to train? No, I think there's a different meaning here. It shows that they invest a lot in training. So they invest 6.2 days training per employee, whereas their target was for 5.5 days. So they are investing more time in training, which is supposed to be in good sense. Okay. Disruptive technology, I will explain that later on. You can guess what is the meaning of disruptive technology. Anything which disturbs the current business model is called disruptive technology. uh, Please comment on the environment. Is 2.4 not better than 3? No, no, no. 2.4% reduction in CO2, whereas the target was to reduce CO2 by 3%. It's about reduction. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now, focus for the future. Very, very important. What is the focus of highlight for the future? So whatever we read up till now was current position, their latest financials, blah, blah, blah. What about the future? We have identified 4 key strategic themes to ensure the continued success of our brand. What are those? Focus on growth and innovation in our core highlight business. Focus on our strengths to grow internationally. So they want to grow internationally. Focus on supporting future growth through investment in technology and staff. And focus on sustainability, which is more about environment and CO2. So these are the 4 main things. Focus on growth and innovation in our core highlight business. We must continue to develop our market leading customer focus with further product innovation and consistent delivery of quality service and value. Innovation is vital to our future success. We must improve our digital capabilities to ensure we stay ahead in the rapidly changing environment. Okay. They must invest in digital capabilities. By that, they mean technology, online, apps, all those things, digital, social marketing. Um, I will just come back to the questions in few minutes. Please bear with me. Focus on our strength to grow internationally. There are existing market opportunities for establishing the highlight brand outside D-land, as international growth is new area of development for highlight. We will need to focus our resources on the best opportunities which will produce the highest returns and match our high expectations of quality, value for money, and commitment to staff and sustainability. There are exciting market opportunities to establishing highlight brand outside. Okay, where can you use this information? Can you? So I know that in question number 1B they are thinking of acquiring a hotel in Villandia, international acquisition. So this is as per theme number 2. So maybe I can use this line and I can use this as a starting sentence by saying that it is one of our key themes to grow internationally, right? Okay. 3, focus on supporting future growth through investment and technology, through investment in technology and staff. To deliver long-term returns, we must invest for the long term to ensure we have the skills to become more agile in digital capabilities and build efficient and sustainable infrastructure. We are committed to creating a great workplace with a strong commitment to equality and diversity. Okay, these are all nice, flowery sentences. We will continue to commit to staff development. Okay, the opportunities which will help them realize blah, blah, blah. Investing around $10 million annually in skills programs. We welcome the introduction of the new D-Land national living wage, which we implemented 6 months in advance before. I don't know, but where can I use this? I don't know. So I'm just saying staffing. And lastly, focus on sustainability. We will continue to build on our focus and reputation of operating as a sustainable and environmental friendly business. We are committed to continued development and investment in sustainability and environment management systems to reduce our level of wastage, decrease our CO2 emissions, and work towards becoming carbon neutral businesses. Nice sentences. Over the next 3 to 4 years, we will need to upgrade our systems and infrastructure to improve our sustainable position. All of our staff will continue to be trained in environmental management and sustainability awareness, and targets will continue to be set for every hotel to encourage sustainable behavior. Right. So I don't know. So I'll just talk about that. This one is about environmental aspects. Okay, this paragraph. So we just read Exhibit 1. It was a performance report by the CEO for the year. He talked about internal factors like strong brand, staffing, locations, strong financials, strong operating cash flows, investment in technology. Then he talked about fierce competitions and cost pressures. He talked about some key performance indicators about shareholders, customers, staff, and environment. And then he talked about 4 important strategies for future. Um, Very interesting. So, some people are asking, please, but aren't they incurring more training costs considering the cost pressure? Yes, this is what they are saying, that they are investing in training. Don't call this cost, because staffing and is one of their key success factors. So they are spending money and they are making money through staffing. So I don't think it's something to do with cost. So guys, stop thinking like cost management accountants. It's more strategic here. Okay. Now, Exhibit 2, a challenging year for D-Land's hotel industry. Now, I'm mindful of the time. So our session is supposed to end in next 20 minutes. So I don't think that we will be able to complete both requirements. Okay. Today my target was to do 1A and 1B, but looking at the remaining time, I would think that we will just be able to do 1A, and unfortunately we will have to carry forward 1B to tomorrow. Okay, so I think it took a little more time than expected because I wanted to be more detailed. uh, I could have gone very fast, but I prefer that you understand before I proceed. So exhibit 2 is more relevant to requirement B. I know this because I've read the question many times. So let's read exhibit 2 tomorrow. Let's focus most of the success factors um, are sitting in Exhibit 1. There, there are some success factors in Exhibit 2. So let's quickly go through certain paragraphs of the Exhibit 2. So Exhibit 2 is a hotel industry report by Professor blah 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 of some institute, right? So he's talking about the tourism or the hotel industry. You think hotel industry is important for us? What kind of question is that? Absolutely yes. So let me quickly highlight some information, and then um, I'll show it. So as look at the second paragraph. Tourism has continued to thrive in D-land despite the continued global effects of the recession, with hotels seeing an average rise in visitors by over 8% in on 2017. That's good. Tourism is thriving. D-land has a highly developed hotel and travel industry. That's good for us, right? Both online travel agents and traditional high street companies are thriving. Online booking websites and price comparison sites are driving businesses to be more competitive and offer more. So I think this is external factors, industry factors. Industry is thriving. I will use that. Continued investment. Um, there has to be a significant extent being assisted by. Sorry, this has to a significant extent being assisted by the D-Land's government's continued investment in national infrastructure, particularly the new airport recently opened in Boria, D-Land's second largest city. So, D-Land's government is continually investing in infrastructure, opening new airport in Boria. This generated an additional 2.5 million international visitors last year, approximately 80% of them visiting for leave. Fine. So again, this is a good point that government is investing in infrastructure. This also has led to a growth in business activity in the economy, which in turn has created more opportunities. In 2018, two new national branded chains of hotels opened. Uh, That's it. So we will read the rest of the exhibit later, but for tonight, whatever we highlighted is more than enough. So now let's me show you the drafting of requirement 1A. What happened is, let's read the requirement. Let's go back. The, the chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in the home country of D-Land. 16 marks and 3 marks for professional, so it's 19 marks. So first of all, we need to decide how much number of points we need to write. So generally it's 2 marks, uh, 2 sorry, 1 point, I take 2 marks. Okay. Generally, there are some exceptions. So if we go by this rule, so for 19 marks, I need to give, let's say, 10 points. Okay. So let's target for 10 points between internal and external. Okay. Right. So first thing is the format, briefing notes. Whom is it to be addressed to? The finance director. So let me go to our sheet. The first of all, now let's focus on the format. So it's briefing notes. Okay. So I would give I would mention requirement number 1A, and then on the center of the page I would give in caps, I would say okay, give a broad central heading. Then in a briefing note you need to mention four things: FAO, which means for attention of, but you just write FAO, then you say from, then you say subject, and then you say date. Okay, so FAO means for attention of. So whom do you think this report is to be addressed to? It will be mentioned in the case. Right, we prepare briefing notes for finance director. And from, it's me. What's my role? I read somewhere in the introduction my role. My role is, got it? Very simple. Subject. Now, subject has to be very, very short, and you can pick the subject from the question itself. So let me go read the requirement. Prepare briefing notes which discusses the key factors which have enabled highlight to be successful. Can I say key success factors as short as possible? That's it. What is FAO? FAO is for attention of. So when we prepare briefing notes or memo, you write FAO. You can also write 2, but I've seen examiners answers. He prefers writing FAO for briefing paper, briefing notes, and memos. Is there any difference between briefing notes and briefing paper? No. Same thing. Date, you will just write the date on the paper of its month, day, year, whatever is the day of your paper. Now, leave one line, and now you have to give a opening sentence or a intro para. I think I would like to draw a line, okay, to separate the two from and stuff like that. And now you can write a small intro para. Again, do not create something on your own. Just pick up the introduction para from the paper. Just copy paste the key wordings from the requirement. So I would say this briefing notes, and then discusses the key factors which have enabled highlight to be successful in D-land. As simple as that. Okay, I will just write this briefing paper discusses the factors which have enabled highlight to be successful in D-land. What I did, I just copied the wordings from the scenario and created a opening sentence. We need to save time. So if you get stuck in drafting your own fancy juicy or introduction sentence, you will lose precious time. Okay, so now success factors. So as I said, success factors can be bifurcated between external factors and internal factors. So I will give a broad heading: external factors. And then I would say one. And then I would go to my referencing, the notings which I have done. Uh, I remember something in exhibit um initially in the introduction. Here, 1A, it says that the experience strong economic growth, high developed tourism industry, external factor. And then there were mostly internal factors. And then I remember exhibit 2, mostly focused on internal factor. So I will directly go to exhibit 2. I have done my marking. Tourism has continued to thrive in D land. Average rise in visitors. D-Land is a highly developed hotel and travel industry. All these things I will just, can you give a small heading? Okay. And then write 2 or 3 lines, full stop. And just explain what you mean by thriving tourism industry. And you can straight away pick this information. Okay. Just you can easily pick information from here. You can just tweak the wordings a little bit, but essentially just produce the facts and figures from here. Facts don't change, right? So you will say that tourism industry is booming in D-land. There is a rise in visitors by 8% over last year, and it has got a highly developed tourism industry. That's it. What else? So we covered this point. What else? So the government is investing, continued investment in national infrastructure, the new airport, all the story. Just go to your notes, leave one line, and go to point number 2. And can you design a heading for me? That's it. And then you just copy paste, or not copy paste, but just essentially reproduce information from this paragraph a little bit using your wording and sticking to, try to use 70% of the wordings from this exhibit. Okay, I repeat, try to use 70% of the information or wordings from the exhibit. Rest 30% you can tweak and customize based on your own English. Okay, so Jalal wants me to develop the point. Well, I can just, verbally. I don't have. I'm running out short on time, so I'm not going to draft right now. But I can verbally tell you the how to develop. So, for example, the second point, uh, I would say that the government of D-land is continuously investing in the national infrastructure. Full stop. It has recently opened a new airport in Boria, which is D-Land's second largest city. Due to this, 2.5 million additional visitors came to D-Land. Full stop. That's it. So essentially, I just stuck with the key wordings from the paragraph itself, and I just did some minor changes in the English here and there, but key words and key sentences and facts I just reproduced from the paragraph. Okay. Porter Diamond, Aisha, I will just answer your question in a bit. And then the third heading is about the economy, right? So booming economy or growing economy, and just pick up the wordings from here. So these are the most important external factors. Uh, Somewhere in one of the exhibit, it also mentioned that government is announcing further tax breaks and tax incentives. So people who are offering job in hotel industry. So it's somewhere mentioned in some other exhibit. So we can also pick that up. So once we are done with the external factors, what's the next heading we will give? We will say internal factors. And I'm sure that the exhibit one had a lot of information where the CEO was talking a lot about, the good things. Just pick these up. Okay. So brand is one of their thing. Staffing, you see good financial cash flows. One is financials. We talked about brand and employees. Um, Investing in technology and refurbishment. That's one point. Um, Um, and then there were some points in the introduction as well. I remember all these things. Good competitive pricing strategies, excellent locations near airports, technology. So let's merge all these points and come up with 4 5 strong points for internal factors. Again, we will follow the same link. So, for example, we will say staffing. Okay, and we will reproduce some good information about staffing, that we have loyal staff, we operate with less number of staff. Okay, and then choice of locations, and we can say about brand. Remember, human resource, financial resource. So financial, strong financial position, cash flows, IT, technology. Just give these broad headings and repeat facts and figures and sentences in the exhibit. This is the only way you can link your answers with the case. Do not try to draft everything from scratch. When you try to draft everything from scratch, you end up deviating from the exhibits. So if you want to stick to the exhibits, try to use 70% of the sentences from the exhibit. Rest 30% you can massage on your own on top of that. Okay, and people who are weak with English, people who have weak English skills, I suggest that you don't have a choice. You should try and reproduce 80 or 90% from the paragraphs. Okay, because unfortunately you don't have a choice. People who are good with English, try to use 70% from the case and 30% on your own. All right, so do you understand? I want you to focus on the technique. Did you see how referencing helped? Okay, and I'm just going through the referencing paragraphs and trying to reproduce information as much as possible. Right, so um, let me answer two very important questions. One was, I think someone asked, can we use Porter Diamond? I deliberately did not use Porter Diamond for two reasons. One, Porter Diamond only talks about external factors, and success factors, I believe, should also include some internal factors as well. And the second reason why I did not use Porter Diamond was I don't like models. Okay. When the examiner doesn't mind, why the hell we have to use models then? Okay. So if you see the examiner's suggested answer for this particular question, the examiner himself has used Porter Diamond. Okay. Let me admit that. And but then on top of that, he has also mentioned some internal factors like staffing and financial positions and this and that. But then he also mentioned that anybody who doesn't use Porter Diamond will also get equal marks as long as they logically cover all the important factors. So I don't like using complicated models when we can simply do. If the finance, you think the finance director is interested in the Porter Diamond model? Again, remember, you are writing the report to the finance director. So these board guys, the chairman, Mr. Old Guy, chairman, the CEOs, they are not interested in models. When you say, I will analyze the success factors using Porter Diamond, they will say, bullshit. Excuse my language. But they are more interested in the meat. They are more interested in the factors rather than what model you are using. So from a practical board of directors point of view, uh, stay away from models as much as possible. To be very honest, did you feel that this was easier, giving just a list of internal and external factors? Now, if you try the same question using Porter Diamond, you would struggle, and you will waste your time. So I hope I answered your question. Um, uh, Qasim, if you read the conclusion, yes, the examiner has given the conclusion, but if you carefully read the conclusion, it's not really a conclusion. It's not saying whether we should buy or we should not buy. It's just a diplomatic paragraph saying that we have analyzed everything and now it's up to the board to decide what they want, which factors they want to give more weightage, blah blah blah. My friend, we don't have this much time under exam conditions to go for such diplomatic flowery paragraphs. Okay, so that's why stay away from conclusions unless specifically mentioned. The examiner suggested answers are too good to be true. Do you agree? They are too good to be true. In fact, he himself mentions in the start that these answers are not expected from students under exam conditions. So just chill, just stick to the basics. Forget about advanced and flowery things. Please consolidate your basics. Okay, that's all I want. Otherwise, you will not be able to complete the paper. Can we be asked to use a particular model in the exams? So far, Chris, no, the examiner has not asked, has not named any particular model. Manpreet, yes, yeah, every question is answered from a general perspective. Absolutely. By general, I mean that you have to stick with the exhibits. You can't be general on your own. As long as you are logically correct, think like what a board of director needs. They need facts, figures, and logics. Okay. Yes, Baldrige model has been mentioned, but the entire exhibit, the Baldrige was provided. And I know many students who did not use the model. They just produced and they used the information in the exhibit and they passed. I know many students. Okay. Furkan is asking, sir, just copying from scenario, give us marks? Yes, little bit. If your English is weak, what other choice you have? So if your English is weak, copy paste, copy from the scenario, but Just change little bit here and there. As I said, 70% copy from the scenario, 37% from your own, and you can get good marks. Right. So I think it was a very interesting first day session with you guys. And this was also my first practice to pass sessions. So I now know a little bit about your personality, your type of questions. I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm little behind the schedule, and we will continue with this interesting question and interesting discussion tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will first start with the SFA question. I will complete this thing, and then I will move to the topics for tomorrow, starting with time management techniques. So, um, please please join tomorrow on time. And also, if you know your friends who have missed today's session, if you like today's session, if you think it was helpful, please spread the word to your friends, to your batchmates, to your people to just join in. It's not too late. I want everybody to benefit from this free session, and try to avail this opportunity, you and all your friends. So, so my WhatsApp number. Let me share my WhatsApp number. Give me a second. Here, that's my WhatsApp number. Just make sure you don't flood don't send me a tsunami of messages. It's my personal number. I don't have any secretary or assistant. So just, try to be as to the point as possible. And do expect a little bit of delay from my side because I would be struggling with a lot of messages. Right. So guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions, hold it for tomorrow, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care and good night.